All right, you're very welcome along. It's Friday Nights Off the Ball. It's Jerry Gilroy and Catherine. How are you?
I'm all right, yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
A welcome debut, finally, and off the ball. And Ronan Mullen. Ronan, what's the story you're bringing Catherine out tonight? What's going on?
I gave her no choice in the matter because it's my final show, so I'm making
there you go.
Signature moves.
You're breaking the news. Also with us, Joe Molloy. What's rare is wonderful, as you might say yourself. Joe, how are you?
How you doing, Ger? Very good.
Joe, this is beautiful.
You're working on your day off, which means something significant is happening.
I know I would charge overtime for this usually, but as Ronan said, it's his last show, so I said I'd stick my oar in.
For the last hour tonight, instead of doing the highlights from during the week, of which there were some, we're actually going to let Ronan pick his top 5 ever involvements. So I'm looking forward to that. But where are you going, Ronan? What's the big money transfer?
I'm moving about 15 metres to the left, so I'm just...
Very good, yeah.
Producer with the hard shoulder.
So you're not really going anywhere?
No, I'll still be around, still annoying people with my controversial boxing opinions, as has been borne out by any time I give them and get criticised. So, yeah, so I'll still be around, but possibly not on a nightly basis.
So, Joe, you've watched Ronan blossom from somebody behind the scenes to somebody very much in front of the scenes, or particularly over the last 6 months or so.
Yeah, for sure. I guess these are the occasions where we're either very mean to him or very nice to him. I guess we'll lean towards nice, given that we have to see him again around the office. We're hoping, by the way, to inherit record-breaking hard-shoulder audiences from you now, Ronan, so that would be good as well. Yeah, look, I can't speak highly enough of Ronan. We've worked together very closely for 6 years now, and like right away he made a big impression on me, and I think everybody. Like, I vividly remember, I think it was Ronan, it could have been your first month even on the show at the time, and you came up and said there's this guy called Ray Mancini who I'd never heard of, and you said we should interview him. A boxer had killed somebody in a ring, and your idea totally, you track him down, you convince him to come on and tell a story, and then for the presenter it's the ultimate open goal. So, you know, I get all the credit after you dribble around 10 players and I tap it into an empty net. And you know, you did that so often, I would say, over the years. And I wondered at times where the hell you were plucking these ideas from. And then also the reality is, as we all know, and listeners do and don't appreciate, we will often have meetings at 2 o'clock and the shows can be pretty empty and we don't have endless resources. And, you know, good ideas are kind of the lifeblood of the show. And in that regard, Ronan was exceptional, and I mean exceptional. There were quiet days where the potential guests we had talked about are not returning calls. We're struggling. It's 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Clock is ticking, and if Ronan was there, genuinely, I was rarely worried because he would pluck something out of nowhere at 6:30, and I would say, God, why didn't I think of that? That's perfect. We'll do that. So he had just a deep understanding and appreciation for what the show is about and what we're trying to do. And I know, and I guess we all have these moments where you're conflicted about a treatment of a topic and should I do it this way or should I do it that way? And he was always somebody I would bounce my thoughts off, and I wanted his opinion and valued it hugely. So we're going to really miss him, and the fantastic sense of humour as well. That dry observational wit definitely made the nights shorter. And as you said, Ger, on air, brilliant as well. And anyone who's, you know, seen him on air over the last number of months and years, just very thoughtful, well-informed, thoughtful. So I have no doubt he will do something great in the business. I'm not sure what, documentary, book, podcast series, but something. He's gonna leave his mark for sure, and definitely left his mark on Off the Ball and made like an amazing contribution day in, day out. And like, he knows the esteem in which I hold him in. So I'm just embarrassing myself and putting this on there.
No, keep going. You have another couple of minutes here.
He's 10 to 11 on to darken our door again, I would say, but we'll lend him out for a while. But genuinely, as good as it gets.
Very nice. Very nice.
So kind, yeah. And it's reciprocal in terms of the esteem I hold Joe in as well. And, you know, you mentioned those early days and weeks, but like, there was an awful lot of faith put in me from an early point with everybody. It would have been yourselves and Owen and Tommy primarily working on the PM show, and then laterally Nathan, Adrian, and, you know, prior to the digital explosion that has come in the last couple of years, it was kind of learning the radio trade a bit more, and having listened to the show for years and doing my homework literally when I should have been doing my homework listening to Off the Ball. So to be part of the fabric for a while was amazing, and still is amazing. So I appreciate all that faith that was put in me, and I hope the kind of love I had for off the ball at large kind of shone through in what I brought to the table.
100%, absolutely did. And the highlights I think that we're going to play in the final hour are Ray Boom Boom Mancini's been mentioned by Joe already. Anything else, Joe, that sticks out for you, or maybe Ronan, you want to tell us some of the stuff that might be coming up? And
well, in the last hour, one of the other things that Joe would have featured on was the post the All Ireland hurling final, the Richie Hogan red card, and what came after that. And in itself, that was a memorable final, just in terms of the flashpoint, but one of those, I don't know, I want to call it perils, but more so the joys of live radio, where you've got the key principal in an All-Ireland final essentially coming on to tell his side of the story not even 48 hours after it happened. And I think, like, Joe was obviously in the pretender's chair, but I was outside in the box, like, equally sort of wondering where it was going to go, and it was just a really memorable snapshot, I think.
This is not Irish dancing.
That was the line as well. And then the sort of everybody going with that line the next morning, because Richie almost wanted to encapsulate it himself, and headline writer's dream, as it turned out.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I'd completely forgotten about that until you mentioned it, but that actually encapsulates what I'm talking about. I vividly remember it was honestly about 6 o'clock. We were empty for 7:30 after this All-Ireland final, and it's just one of those days, struggling to get someone, and himself here goes, "Oh, Richie Hogan's going to come on." Like, what? Richie Hogan's not coming on, don't be ridiculous. But he texted him, had that ambition to text him, somehow got him, so, and I'd forgotten about that. That's a typical a Mullen moment, I'll call it.
Well, there's 3 or 4 more that we're going to play.
Oh yeah, there's a few more, and we'll probably get into them a little bit more depth.
There'll be an audience for that, and there'll be an audience in this one. You gotta learn the hard sell.
It's kind of the kind of typical of an idea that we just kind of went with. I had come out of DCU in 2016, like straight in here, and had done my thesis on out of journalism course on the Black Power salute of 1968 in Mexico City, and Dr. Harry Edwards was one of my interviewees for that, and it was entwined with the O.J. Simpson Made in America documentary, which had come out around that time, and he was a contributor therein, so put the two together and sort of built a larger piece out of what O.J. Simpson represented in the context of that broader struggle, and like how his story somehow got intertwined with something much larger. And that was a very memorable piece that you fronted, Ger. So that was, again, only a few weeks after I got in, so that will feature as well later on.
I mean, that was amazing. Jerry, you can't say it like I can. That's one of the best pieces we've ever done. Do you know what I mean? I remember listening to that, and he was literally talking about confronting OJ and what OJ said back. Like, it was just amazing.
Well, that documentary is like one of the best things you're ever going to see, and to be able to get one of the principles of it and to deliver it so quickly and so easily, and then for him to be just an incredible performer as well was absolutely fantastic. And I think, Ronan, you would talk about there being certain pieces that define what it is that this show's supposed to stand for and has always stood for, and that's kind of what one of those pieces is, and that's what you mean when you talk about them, I presume?
Yeah, 100%. And as I said, like a radio programme first and foremost is what I knew off the ball as, and what I came into it for the first year or so, and kind of conscious of that audience, that often the pieces that people stop you in the street are like the ones that you're afraid to get out of your car in case you miss the end of it, and those longer form things that we do. And I think they're still, even with other considerations, and off the ball's obviously a multifaceted thing now, but we still give airtime to considered pieces like that, and those were the ones I really most enjoyed doing, I think. Yeah,
it's funny, you can hear all those pieces on OTB Sports Radio on a regular basis if you want to catch them. We do it under the OTB Gold banner, and they all live there, they nestle there very snugly.
Yeah, and I just want to say, because Catherine's here, that, like, I mentioned the people that I came in to, and it was a really strong team, but like there's some really strong people that'll be here after I'm gone, and Catherine's here, and Stephen is outside, and there's plenty more people that aren't here. So off the ball will be fine. Like, there's some great people, great ideas, and great drive to keep making it better. So
but the thing is that all grows. Like, So I came in during COVID times, which often would mean that there was only 2 of us on production and Joe in the studio maybe. And like whenever, sometimes it was even just me on my own in the office. And it would be like literally you were my comfort blanket at times. It was like, oh, it's Monday, I'm the only one in the office. Oh, here's Ronan with a text full of, as Joe said, like 6 ideas for the show. This is what we can run with. This is the bids that are in. Like, we didn't get it from nowhere. Like, the foundations are laid there by you, by JP, by Mick, by everyone that set those standards for production, that like, this is what we expect of Off the Ball. This is the brand that we are, and we can only pick up on that and continue to grow it. Like, we'd be going nowhere if it wasn't for what's already there.
That's the best thing anybody said on the show so far. Thank you.
And now I leave.
There you go. Ronan, congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Joe, last word to you.
Well, it's just, where's the section where we're mean about him? Where's the roast?
I don't know. I mean, that's
Well,
like
it's far too
that's in the pub next week, right?
Next week.
We could talk about the first day I met Ronan, but I think
Oh yeah.
no, I don't think I don't think
doesn't
anyone wants that.
That doesn't work on. That's not how radio works either. This is when
We're out of time. I'm still producing at the moment. We're out of time.
Joe, good stuff. Thanks a million.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Well done, Ronan. Good
Thanks,
man.
Joe.
Right.
Coming up on the show, we're going to react to Ireland's World Cup playoff draw, which is a bit of a stinker. We're going to hear from the Republic of Ireland manager Vera Pauw and her reaction to it. David Connolly and Phil Egan are along to chat Chelsea and Liverpool. There's no Premier League games, by the way. If that's breaking news to you, we're sorry that we didn't lead with that, but far more important news for us to lead with.